Okay, we'll leave Preston North End and their playoff hopes there, and we'll move on to some other action from the weekend. James Bromfield saw the PNE Youth team play this weekend. Another positive result for Jamie Hoyland and his men. How was it, James?
It was a comfortable win in the end. 4-1 they went out winners, but they didn't make it easy for themselves in the first half. They went one up, but then they conceded a sloppy goal and got the opposition back into the game. It was quite difficult playing conditions for Preston in the first half, battling against the wind, and they struggled to get distance on their goal kicks, and they had to get the ball down and start playing the beautiful game, as they call it. But of course Shrewsbury had the wind behind them in the first half, so they seemed to have a bit more of a foothold in the game. And it wasn't until the second half really when Jamie Hoyland brought on the trio of Proctor, Douglas and Adam Barton, and they brought a whole new dimension to the game. Douglas and Barton getting on the score sheet, and in the end Jamie Hoyland at the end of the game said that he felt them changes needed to be made, and he felt they won the game for them on Saturday.
It's been a good season for them so far. Last week we saw them get through the semis and into the final of the Lancashire FA Youth Cup. These players that you mentioned, Barton and Douglas, and that have been important for them this season. There's a risk that they're going to lose those players soon. We saw them feature for the reserves already. How long do you think it will be before they start breaking in?
Well, I asked Jamie Hoyland at the reserve game what the chances are of these boys getting first team appearances, and he was a little bit reserved on the matter. He said it was up to the Alan Irvine eventually, but I think if you look at the likes of Danny Mayer, who've managed to get first team football with Tranmere, he's done well there. I think it's a matter of time before these boys get first team football somewhere along the line. But whether it's with Preston or not remains to be seen.
Okay, I mentioned that cup final just a moment ago. Do you think they can go on and win that?
Yeah, I mean, the manager's confident, the players are confident, and their performance against Blackpool was very commendable. I know that they've got either Carlisle or Burnley, I think, in the final. But they look good value for their form at the moment, and I think they might be going into that favourites.
Preston they haven't got the greatest facilities in the world as far as the youth team go. How impressed are you with that team?
I think their team chemistry is wonderful. The way they play the game, it's flowing. It's very much a one-touch game they play. Everyone wants to get on the ball. The defence is really stern. They got a good captain at the back, Tommy Smythe, who really does command the area. The goalkeeper as well is very vocal, but every time they go forward, they look like scoring, and they've got some fantastic players in that team who'll carry that team even when they're not playing too well. So I'm very impressed by the team. They're one of the best youth setups I've seen.
Okay, thanks James for keeping an eye on those youngsters for us. Obviously exciting times for Preston potentially. Sticking with football, over to Bamber Bridge. Tim Corby was there for us. It's a disappointing afternoon, I understand, Tim.
Yeah, very disappointing for Bamber Bridge, the home side. It was a frustrating day all round. Spoke to Neil Crowe, the manager, after the game, and he was very upset with how things turned out. Bamber Bridge missed a whole host of chances in the first half. Should have been 2 or 3-0 up. Stephen Brown and Tom Ince down the left wing were linking up very well, causing Garforth all sorts of problems. Tom Ince missed an absolute sitter from about a yard out with an open goal at his mercy. And you could just sense that the missed chances were going to prove costly. And midway through the second half came the turning point when Captain Glenn Steele gave away a penalty and was sent off, giving Garforth the lead. Neil Crowe had to change the system to try and get the team back into the game. They switched to 3 at the back, and lo and behold, they did get back into the game. Stephen Brown scored the equaliser. He was probably the pick of the home side, but the man of the match award was given to Jamie Nay. But they probably went a bit too gung-ho after equalising, were throwing men forward, leaving all sorts of spaces at the back, and Garforth made them pay in the last 5 minutes, scoring 2 late goals. Probably put the final nail in the coffin of the dwindling playoff hopes, but you never know. If a few teams around them drop points, then they're in with an outside chance still of making the playoffs at the end of the season.
We've seen a change of management recently. How do you see the new management working?
Well, he got off to a great start last week, winning against Curzon Ashton, but the luck probably has evened itself out in the 2 games. They were maybe lucky to hold on last week. Curzon hit the woodwork twice in the last couple of minutes, could easily have got an equaliser. And yesterday it was the reverse. Bamber Bridge should have won comfortably, and in the end it ended up losing, so it's probably evened itself out over the 2 games. But Bamber Bridge have definitely played some good football. I've been at both games and they've passed it around well, quite nicely in both games, and look quite good.
As you mentioned, the playoffs there, it's been a fairly good season for Bamber this year. Are you really ruling their playoff chances out?
Well, they're still in with a shout. The trouble is the teams around them all have games in hand on them, so it's going to be tough for them to stay up in the playoffs position that they're in at the minute. But as I said, there's always the chance that the teams around them will drop points, and all they can do is keep winning and hope come the end of the season they'll still be in and around the playoff area.
Okay, something for Bamber Bridge fans to hold on to for now. If not, I'm sure they'll be up and around there again next season. We'll move away from football now onto rugby, and our local team, Preston Grasshoppers. Sort of been a mixed season for them, been reliant on their home form. Alistair Bunker was there for us. Again, like Bamber, disappointment this weekend.
Yeah, disappointing, but Macclesfield are a good side. Third in the table now. Preston, they've been fairly inconsistent this season, and you could say it was the same throughout the match. First half they started poorly. Macclesfield got 3 points on the board after just 2 minutes. But Preston fought back, and if it hadn't been for some sloppy handling at a line-out, they probably could have had a few more tries in the first half, and they were the better side for a lot of the game. But you just felt that if they weren't going to score another try, then Macclesfield were, and unfortunately for Preston, that was the way it went in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Again, some sloppy handling led to a Macclesfield try, and it was really a heartbreaker for Preston, who played so well for long periods of the game, but they just couldn't hold on.
Just mentioned before, their home form's really been important to them this season. The loss to Loughborough Students sort of ended a very successful run for them. What is it about now that they're starting to lose games at home?
Well, against Loughborough they were outclassed. Against Macclesfield, someone would expect them to be outclassed, and they weren't. So I think they're putting on a very good fighting show, but perhaps there's a lack of quality going forwards for them, and the distribution from the rucks and the scrummages weren't particularly great. But the conditions didn't help either, it has to be said. It was very windy, very cold, and I think both teams struggled to find their kicking game.
There's not long to go now in that season. We're not sort of expecting anything more from Preston in terms of promotion-wise. What can Preston hope for now, from now until the end of the season?
I just think to consolidate their position. They're not troubling the promotion chasers, and they're not in fear of relegation. So I think just to consolidate their place in mid-table, perhaps try and get a few more wins on the board, and that should be happy.
Okay, thanks Alistair. We've got another week of exciting sporting events coming up in Preston. Lancashire kick off their pre-season campaign in the Pro Arch Trophy in the Emirate. It's on Thursday, so we'll keep you updated with that next week, as well as all the other action from Preston North End, Bamber Bridge, the Grasshoppers of course, and much more. So thanks guys.
Thank you. Thanks.